Hey everyone, Barkat here and welcome to our marketing show. Today is episode 3 and we have amazing guest with us, Kory Prince, the owner and director of the CountryWide Real Estate Group. And also Kory runs a YouTube channel called Kory Prince 10,000 Hour Google Ads Pro. He shares a lots of helpful insights related to the Google Ads. On top of that, he manages a free school community focused on the Google Ads, giving it tons of valuable insights for free, because I know that because I am also a member of his free school community group. And Kory, so can you give us a brief introduction of yourself? And if I missed anything, feel free to add it.
Sure. No, I appreciate the invite, man. Thanks so much.
Mhm.
So I got my start back in August of 2010 with Google Ads. I was a
Mhm.
realtor in Western Canada, a place called Vancouver, where the Olympics were in
Mhm.
2010, actually, Winter
Mhm.
Olympics. And I needed to acquire customers. So I needed clients that I could help buy and sell real estate. And I wasn't
Mhm.
from the city that I was living in, so I didn't have any friends or family there for the most part. So I thought to myself, like, where do people look for houses if they're going to buy? And I thought back then the same thing I think now. They probably go online and search Google Vancouver houses for sale or some variation of that. So I started
Mhm.
doing Google Ads for that company 14 years ago, and I've never stopped. So I've been doing that for 14 years. I've been out of production, not selling real estate myself, but my team does for about the last 6. And then about 6 months ago, I created just an online community on school to just teach other business owners, realtors, and small business owners in general how to acquire customers with Google Ads themselves so they can keep more profit as opposed to paying other people to manage it for them. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, yeah, love this story, to be honest with you. Yeah, like, I saw on your school community, like there are lots of, like free stuff, to be honest with you. Some, Google ad courses or step-by-step guide. So yeah, really, like helpful, I believe, for people who wants to learn Google ad. So yeah, like I have a couple of questions for you. So as I mentioned, so, in Google Ads, actually, like, we generally know that, like keywords, landing page, and conversion tracking, these are the most or core component, I can say, of Google Ads. So if someone's goal is to create a profitable campaign, what's the key factors you think that, they should keep in mind during the setup?
So a good question. It's the difference. I look at like the difference between Meta or Facebook ads and Google ads is what we call search
Hmm.
intent, keywords. So
Yeah.
they're searching a
Yeah.
keyword and then the ad shows up. So I feel a lot of people glaze over the keyword research aspect when I think it's like really foundational and really important. Because if you can
Hmm.
find a keyword phrase that has really high search volume and really low competition, you can make a lot of
Hmm.
money because you can
Yeah.
get an infinite number of clicks for a reasonable price, and then you'll have a disparity or a margin between how much you pay for a customer and how much a customer is worth to you in revenue. So
Yeah.
keyword research is something that I've been harping on for a really long time, and most people just jump through it and then start creating the ads, but there's no search volume for that keyword. So I'll spend a
Hmm.
lot of time figuring out the best keywords possible, and you'll thank me later.
Yeah. I got your point. Yeah, like, like same thing, I found. So when I audit some Google ad campaigns, like people's like they are messed up with the keywords and the ad groups. Also, I found, most people don't, set up the conversion tracking. I don't know why they underestimate the conversion tracking, like,
Yeah.
yeah, this is the general things I found on Google Ads account. I can say like most Google account I audit. So yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, I do audits too, and I see that all the time. Oftentimes they'll try to set up conversion tracking and it just
Hmm.
doesn't quite work, and then they quit and they start working on something else. When if you don't have conversion tracking set up properly, you don't know if it's viable. You don't know if it's a financially profitable campaign because you're just guessing.
Yeah.
You're like, I spent $2,000
Hmm.
and I think I got $2,000 back, or I think I got zero. You don't know. You need to be able to attribute spend to actual return on investment to know which way to go, right?
Hmm. Yeah, of course. Hmm. Yeah, like, yeah. I saw like on your YouTube channels, there are some videos, like you are using the broad match keywords. Like, I am really curious, like, how do you make them work? Also, most people like, I know this, like finding the broad match is the most challenging in terms of the search terms.
Mhm.
I'm not sure like how you are getting these conversions. Like, what's your approach, in terms of broad match keywords?
Yeah, like what I the way I started is I was using exact match when I was like brand
Uh-huh.
new. So I'm like, I
Uh-huh.
want to target only when they search exactly these words in this order, and then I could message align the landing page and the ad copy and all that. But there's not
Mm-hmm.
as much search volume. There's virtually none with lots of exact match keyword phrases. So what I'll often do is I'll start broad match with a
Mm-hmm.
max clicks bidding strategy, so I can get clicks as inexpensively as possible. And then I can use the search terms report to exclude the keyword terms that I don't want triggering the ad as a negative keyword. So if you do that for like the first 2 or 3 weeks with enough search volume, then you can take it off of broad match and only target the ones that have the most search volume as phrase or exact, but you wouldn't know what they were unless you ran that campaign and got a little bit of data. So that's a little pro tip that I've been doing for 14 years that most other people don't do, but it gets the campaign data quickly for less money,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Yeah. Like, love to know actually. Yeah. I think I should try this because, like, you know, we have like, like, I mean, some, I mean, a great level, like, I mean, what can I say? Google Ads rep, they are always pushing us to use the broad match keywords, these kind of things. I don't know why. I don't know why, like, they are pushing us to use the broad match. So I used broad match for some of my campaigns. Like, it's messed up. It's totally messed up because there are lots of garbage in the systems. And yeah, like excluding lots of things. We have a proper negative keyword list in the campaign level, but yeah, still it didn't work for me. Yeah, I think, I should try your tactic, like run the broad match for a few weeks, then, like switch it to the, phrase and exit, which you are telling. Yeah, I think, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good move.
You know what I find too is I find the reason the Google Ads reps do that is one of, I think, the biggest challenges advertisers have is not getting
Mhm.
enough impressions because
Yeah.
their keywords are too targeted, but they never did any
Hmm.
research to find out that there's only 10 average monthly searches for that phrase. So nobody's
Hmm.
searching it. So if you make it broad, then at least it's going to trigger for a bunch of different things and they're going to see that the auction is working. Otherwise, it looks like nobody's searching, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
I got it. Yeah. And in terms of like, I mean, ad copy, I mean, writing the ad copy. So I usually pin the headlines in three positions. I mean, the first position for keyword, and second position for value propositions, and third is, like call to actions. So my question is, do you follow the same types of tactic, or do you have any like differentiated for the, I mean, writing the ad copy?
Like I've created a proprietary ad creation tool that I'm just releasing
Mm-hmm.
in my community recently. I'm just testing like version one of it. But basically what I focus on most is the offer, what I call like a compelling or no-brainer offer. So for
Mm-hmm.
real estate, for instance, in
Mm-hmm.
the area where my real estate company, Countrywide Real Estate Group is, the public doesn't have access to sold prices, or at least historically they haven't. So one of the
Mm-hmm.
things that we offer in the ad when somebody searches like Vancouver houses is want to know how much your neighbor's house sold for, question mark. So if you're
Mm-hmm.
thinking of selling your house, you're probably curious what your neighbor's house is worth because it might be comparable to your house. And it's not public info. So that's a pretty compelling offer. They click it and then they go onto the website and they have to create an account to view those sold prices. That's how we
Mm-hmm.
capture the lead. And we capture them at a pretty high rate because we're giving them something of value that's more valuable than holding on to their email address. Giving their
Mm-hmm.
email address up for that data is actually a pretty good trade. So yeah, just make it so it's like they feel stupid saying no to it. Such a no-brainer, compelling offer that they feel dumb saying no to it.
Yeah. Like like following the Alex Hormoz's, like, I mean, rules. Yeah. I
Literally,
saw
yeah,
you, like, yeah. Yeah, like you are a big fan of Alex Hormozy, I believe. So yeah, I
yeah,
got it.
yeah. No, I was lucky. I got to go meet him and spend the day with him back in August in Vegas. It was fantastic.
Uh-huh. Yeah, sounds good. So yeah, like, do you do split testing, in Google Ads? Because, I know that like people, I mean, the Google Ad, as a Google Ad expert, like, like most people suggest to do the split testing because it's a critical, for improving the campaign, the landing page. So do you do
Yeah.
split testing?
So I've done a lot of A/B split testing of ads, like historically,
Mm-hmm.
meaning I would run two
Yeah.
different ads against each other and I would rotate them indefinitely. So not optimizing performance. I just
Mm-hmm.
want to show alternative ads for the campaign. And I've done that so much that there's not really much more juice to squeeze out of those particular ads that I've been running for that
Mm-hmm.
long. So now what I do is I do A/B split testing on the landing page. So
Yeah.
the landing page changes every second person, just slightly. Maybe the copy of the headline, maybe the color of the button or the call to action on the button. And then I optimize for the landing page after I've optimized for the ad copy.
Okay. Understood. Yeah. So is this something like that? Like, I mean, you are using the GHL, I mean, go high level to do the split testing on the, I mean, landing page side, just, like doing something like in terms of split testing, like, I mean, do you like, I mean, in terms of content change, like how much, I mean, the content you change on the landing page side, or maybe some, like, I mean, small testing or something? What,
So
what's the
for the
procedure?
so for the go high level example, which I do use, not for my real estate business, but for other businesses, I use go high level.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that I can tell you that's most important about testing, A/B split testing anything, whether it's ads or whether it's a landing page, is changing one variable and one variable only. So if you change
Yeah.
5 things and then it performs better, you actually don't know why. You just know that it performs better. But if you change one thing, then it performs better.
Mm-hmm.
You know that that one change is actually materially what helped. So whether it's the headline, the main title, headline
Oh,
one
yeah.
on the landing page, the color of the button, the video
Mm-hmm.
VSL, whatever it happens to be, just change one variable, test it over at
Yeah.
least a few thousand impressions minimum, if not more, and then you'll have a bit closer to statistical significance to know if it actually was working or not. That's my
Understood.
advice.
Yeah. Yeah. Understood. Yeah. Like, change, I mean, one at a time. Yeah. I got it.
I basically do a weekly change. Every week on Wednesdays is when I change copy and things like that. So I go and I have
Mm-hmm.
a big spreadsheet to track all of it. I go in and I change a bunch of different things, see what they did in the last week, see if it was better or worse. And then I've got a historical log of that. And then it just every Wednesday at like 11 o'clock my time, I'm just in there making a change and trying to push that rock up the hill, if you will.
Yeah. 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 Sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah. I think, yeah, it's a good thing. So yeah, like, like same thing happened with me as well. Like, I mostly often, like struggle with the optimizing landing pages because personally I use Microsoft Clarity to track the user behavior, like when someone land on the pages, like, what types of things they are clicking, like where they're scrolling kind of things. But I would love to know, like, do you use this kind of tools to track the behavior on the landing page or no?
I used to track like heat maps and stuff like that. I used to do that, but like
Mm-hmm.
ultimately, like for like let's say a really simple conversion action, like a page where I'm just asking for people's email address and nothing more. Like I
Mm-hmm.
don't really care where they're going. I care what the conversion rate is. If it's converting at 36%, then I don't really care where they're going. I just know that 1 in 3 people are signing up, which is really good. So
Yeah,
I'm not against that stuff and I've used it. I just haven't seen enough of a uptick in conversion for it to matter. As long as it's converting, I don't really care about anything else.
I got it. So yeah, so again, like in terms of landing pages, elements on the, like, what you suggest, like what is the most core important element we should put on the landing pages, like reviews, offer,
Um,
like what?
It depends. Like the more the I call it friction. So the more you ask for, the more friction there is, the less people are going to want to fill it out.
Mm-hmm.
So email is probably the lowest friction because they can just ignore it. Phone number is pretty high friction because then you could call or text them. So what I usually do when I'm testing a landing page is I start with the lowest friction possible just to make sure it can convert. Like let's say just email. And then as I'm
Mm-hmm.
getting emails and as I'm getting conversion, I go, well, what do I really need to turn this person into revenue and really help them? And if it's a phone number,
Yeah.
then I'll add the phone number and I'll see what the phone number page versus the non-phone number page converts and see if it's worth it and see if I can actually make do with just email or I need to ask for the phone number and take that decrease in conversion rate, right?
Mm-hmm. I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in landing pages, like, I mean, in terms of blocks, like how many blocks you think that we should add? Like, do you really prefer the long landing pages or just short landing pages? Because I saw most often, like, short landing page converts very well, but long landing pages,
Yeah.
like, I mean, the quality of conversions we are getting from the short landing page, they are not really good, but the quality of, I mean, like, I mean, conversions we are getting from the long from landing pages, they are often more, like, valuable to us. I mean, they are like, they know, like, I
Yeah.
mean, they read what the conversions, like, you know what I mean. So what do you prefer in terms of, I
Yeah.
mean,
The
the
quality
short and
goes up
long run?
the more
Mm-hmm.
information they have, the quality goes up, right? So it really depends on what the goal of that particular business is for that landing page. If it's just to
Mm-hmm.
build an email list with as many people as possible, that's top of
Mm-hmm.
funnel, then make it short, make it snappy, make it like really high converting. If they want
Mm-hmm.
quality, like marketing qualified leads, for instance, then provide like
Mm-hmm.
a more long form landing page with like a video VSL that talks for 7 minutes or 8 minutes about
Mm-hmm.
exactly what it's like to work with us and why they should. And that's going to really reduce the number of people that fill that form out. But the quality of the people that do fill the form out, they're going to be much more likely to convert into a customer if that's what you're looking for, right?
Yeah, understood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah.
So also like, when it comes to the advanced Google optimizations, like what tactics do you follow to achieve the best results from your campaigns? Like, budget, I mean, in terms of devices optimizations or maybe audience optimization, like what kinds of
Um,
things you follow?
I'll give you like an example of what I'm doing right now for my school
Mm-hmm.
community. So I've got two school communities. I've got the free one that you're a part of, and then I've got a new one that's like a private paid one that there's like 50,
Mm-hmm.
60 I just started inviting people into. So the way that I target the free community is I offer them a master class. So I go,
Yeah.
great, sign up here. It's a free master class. It's totally free. It's better than the paid ones, in my opinion. I put a lot of effort and time into making it good. And what I
Mm-hmm.
do is target them as a cold audience. So people are searching to learn Google Ads. And then once they've signed up there, I add them as an audience. And then I
Mm-hmm.
retarget them with YouTube and display image ads saying, hey, come check out my private community. Here's what you get over here versus the paid community, and try to encourage them to sign up and check out the paid community instead. So it's fairly advanced to do that. You need at least a list of 1,000 people to retarget. So it
Yeah.
takes some time to
Mm-hmm.
build it up. But those warm audiences who already know who I am and have already seen a lot of value for free are much more likely to purchase something that costs money than just somebody who's totally
100%.
cold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. And also like, I saw some, like videos, I am not sure like how, like, in some way, like we are really stuck in our Google Ads campaign, like, in terms of keyword expansions and everything. So how do you identify the new keywords to test without the overspending? Like, let's say for example, we have a client, it's from the plumbing niche, and we are really spending their budgets, but somehow, like the campaign budget was, I think, 30 grand per month, but
Yeah.
they want to really increase their budget because we are really, getting the, like most conversion from the Google Ads. But the problem is we could not scale this campaign because there is not enough search volume for all of the keywords. The keywords we are already targeting on the campaign, like 30,000 is, I think, is a, like good budget for a plumbing client. But I'm not sure, like in terms of
Yeah.
like keyword expansion, like how do you do that? Like, you know.
So there's a couple ways, different keywords, obviously, that have search volume other than the ones they're using,
Mm-hmm.
or expanding the location that you're targeting if they're able to serve a larger area. Those are probably the big ones.
No,
But that's usually
no,
the
it's not
constraint to
possible.
find most local service businesses is the population. Like there's a
Yeah.
church that I work with that has a Google Ad grant. So they have 10,000 USD in spending per month for free. Google just gives it to
Mm-hmm.
them because they're a nonprofit.
Yeah.
And they're in Oklahoma. So there's only 300,000 people in their market. So they can't even spend it all because there's not enough people searching churches.
Yeah.
So like
Mhm.
that's a constraint that you unless you can expand the area, you might just be capped, or you might be willing to pay more for leads or for cost per click. And maybe there's some eligible search impression share that you're missing out on because your budget maybe is capped at like a maximum cost per lead or something. So I try those two to start with.
Yeah, understood. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, like, like in my scenario, like how I expand my, like campaigns. I mean, how I scale my campaign because, they gave us budget, but we are unable to spend all of the budget because the locations they don't want to like expand. It's really expanding right now. Like we are targeted. I mean, like, like a big amount of area right now, but it's not
Yeah.
possible to target more. This is the first thing, and second
Yeah.
is the keyword. I think we covered most of the keywords. I mean, I can say like all of the keywords, even though I mean, plumber as a phrase match as well, we had covering on the campaign level. So I don't know, like instead of using phrase and exit, I think we need to do, or maybe we need to use the broad match. But I think it's not a good move, because if we use these, there should be like lots of garbage. I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, and maybe our campaign would be messed up. So yeah, this is something I'm really struggling with right now. I
You
don't
know
know
what you
like
might
how I
want to
can overcome
do?
these situations.
You know what you
Mhm.
might want to do? You might want to either create another campaign or another ad group just with like some key broad match, ones that you hope won't cannibalize the other campaign or the other ad group, and just test it
Mhm.
out. But I wouldn't screw with the existing one that's working because
Yeah,
you might have trouble getting it back to where it's doing now, and it's already performing quite well, right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you don't want to wreck
That's
a
fine.
good campaign, that's for sure.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we are using the PMAX campaign for them as well right now, and PMAX, oh my goodness, like the lead quality is shitty.
Yeah.
We are getting like lots of like garbage leads from the PMAX, but yeah, PMAX is really good when you have a like remarketing list. Like I use PMAX campaign for remarketing campaign. I'm not sure have
Yeah.
you used the PMAX campaign or not, but yeah,
Like
PMAX is really good.
I played around with it. I honestly focused most of my spend over my career with like Google search ads. I find like
Hmm.
larger clients, like you said, that have large lists and more data points can do pretty good with PMAX. But the
Yeah,
average small business owner that's spending like 1,000 or 2,000 bucks a month, like PMAX will chew up their budget so fast they don't really get a result,
yeah.
in my opinion.
Of course, yeah. But like yeah, I mean, we use the PMX using the like custom audience first thing, and second is if the clients or maybe if the customers has like the I mean converted lead as well, like they can send us and we can import the converted lead on the Google Ads side. We
Yeah,
can retarget them using the PMX. It's pretty easy to target them PMX, and the beauty of the PMX is I mean, the lead cost or maybe, average CPC is pretty low on the PMX. But yeah, of
yeah,
course, you should get some shitty lead from the PMX.
yeah.
There is no doubt. Yeah. There's no doubt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like what I always caution people who are like small business owners, if they've got like a 500 or $1,000 budget, just a simple Google search ad with great keywords and great ad copy to a really compelling offer, it's probably the
Hmm.
best return on investment. If you've got like, a big budget, then PMax can be good. And like you said, for remarketing, PMax can be pretty valuable as well. If you
Yeah.
have a customer list of people that you have signals you want to target, right?
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. And also like budgeting, this is the like key concern for clients, right? So when someone asks you like if I want to spend x amount of dollar or x amount of money on Google Ads, how many leads can I expect each month? Like how do you do this kind of estimate or set the expectation with the clients? I
Like
know there are many.
everybody asks that question because they're like, how much am I going to get back? And then how much money
Yeah.
will I make? Depends on the biggest factor is it depends on the competition for the keyword. So what your
Mhm.
average cost per click is going to be, and then the average conversion. So if your average cost per click is $2 and you convert 10%, the average leads $20. It's just simple
Mhm.
math, right?
Yeah.
So if you can find a low competition and high search volume keyword, you're just going to get cheaper leads. It's just a fact. So
Yeah.
I don't give somebody an estimate and say, here's what it's going to be. I just go, let's do some research on your keywords. Now we know what
Mhm.
the keywords are. Then I can guess pretty well. But without knowing what the keywords are, could be 5 cents, it could be $450 a click. It really depends on what your market and your industry is. Lawyers, for instance, are never going to be 10 cents a click. It's just too competitive, right?
Yeah. It's not possible. Yeah. I know this.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this is something like like people ask very often, like like before like onboarding a client, like client asks like how many leads should I expect? Like it's a tough question to be answered. I mean, sometimes like we gave a like estimation that you will get X amount of lead. Like it's estimation, so maybe you can get more than that or maybe less than that. This is not the
Yeah.
exact amount of like the number of the leads you can get. So yeah, sometimes it's pretty like hard to tackle the clients in this scenario when they
Yeah.
ask like how money or maybe like what's the ROI from this campaign. We don't know before tested, and there are lots of factors in Google Ads, as you know that like before testing we can't judge a campaign unless it's run at least 3 months, right? So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
this is what it
Yeah,
is.
you need data, and obviously it's going to be probably not optimized in that first month compared to month 3 or 4. So it's like you kind of have to pay to play in the beginning, unless you're
Hmm.
running it in a niche with like a really solid offer that you've done before in a similar market with similar search volume, then you can give a better expectation. But if they're like you said, if they're a plumber and you've never run one for a plumber before, and it's in a market you're not familiar with, like it might be more competitive or it might be less competitive. And the way you know
Yeah.
is you
Hmm.
like Hermosi said this when I met him. He said people were asking similar questions that, well, what can I expect as a result? And he said, you're asking for an absolute answer to a testable question. So just means you got to try it and then you'll know because it might be
Yeah.
different for me or for you based on where we are and what we're dealing in, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah. So yeah, so let's say like you are managing a campaign with a like great budget, let's say $30,000 per month. So
Sure.
how do we structure the ad groups in these types of like larger campaigns to ensure the relevance and maintain a strong quality score? This is the important thing, in Google Ads. So how do you do that?
So you're cutting out there. I think what you said was, how would I structure like a 30,000 K,
Yeah,
$30,000? Oh,
yeah, that was my
still
question.
there? Oh, are you back? I can see you now.
Oh yeah, sorry for that. Yeah, my internet was unstable. Yeah, can you hear
So
me?
I got your question. I got your question. Let me answer it. So what I do is I try to make the ad groups and the keyword groupings as tightly themed as possible.
Yeah.
So if there's 3 or 5 or 6 keywords and they're all basically the same theme, then I'm okay with those keywords being in that ad group. I'm not a big
Hmm.
fan of ad groups that have 100 or 1,000 keywords because when those keywords trigger the ad being served, the ad needs to be different for some of those keywords and it's the same ad each time. So I want the keyword theme to be the same so that when the ad shows with any of those keyword phrases, that the ad is really compelling, high click-through rate, high conversion on the other page. So that's like the foundational structure that I always do. Yeah, just as few keywords as possible with as high search volume as possible so you can have message alignment, ideally.
So as you mentioned, like few keywords. So I mean, do you have the confidence that you can spend that 30,000 per month using this free? I mean, few keywords or like.
Depending on the market, depending on what
Uh-huh.
we're doing. Like for instance, for Google Ads, which is a keyword term that I'm actually targeting for my Google Ads community. There's about
Hmm.
between 5 and 20 million average monthly searches in regions where I'm targeting. So there's like an absolute abundance of people
Of
searching that,
course.
right? And the reason
Hmm.
being is they're looking for Google Ads. They're not looking for me. But out of millions of people searching, and there's low competition because no other people aren't targeting as much, right? So the thing about that is then I can, if I get 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 impressions, I don't need many more, right? I don't
Yeah,
need the five
makes
or 10
sense.
million. And you can target in a way where my offer is something to the effect of like, learn Google Ads for free or take our free masterclass. That's a pretty compelling offer when somebody's trying to learn something. Learn from somebody who's done it for free, who what you want to do for free. And then
Yeah,
if they
of
want to
course.
pay for more help in the future, they can do that, but they can just go everything for free if they want. So it's just,
Yeah, makes sense. Hmm.
but it's tough to find search keywords that have that kind of volume. That's like the holy grail. That's like obviously ideal. But if you need more keywords and more ad groups, then that's what you do. It just depends on what your offer is, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I got it point. Yeah. So yeah, like same thing. Like I am not too big, like fan of making like one ad group using lots of keywords. So yeah, the typically like we create the campaigns like break down lots of lots of ad groups. I used to like like use the SKJ campaigns before, SKJ ad group like single script ad group. But right now
Yeah.
it's not working anymore. Yeah, right
Yeah.
now theme based ad group is like working really good. So yeah, that's the same thing we are doing. But
Yeah.
like sometimes it's pretty like hard because like when a client came us like I came from maybe I mean a small market, there is no search volume, but they have a huge budget. So yeah, this kind of things like pretty like I mean unfortunate for us to spend all of the budget on Google Ads. But yeah,
Yeah.
anyways, yeah, we can spend anyway. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, like there's all the question I have for you. So yeah, if you have any questions, so probably we can discuss. Or I think I am done with my questions to be honest with you. Yeah.
No, man, I appreciate it. I absolutely do. And if anybody who's listening wants to check out the free masterclass, they just go to school.com/ads,
Mhm.
SKOOL.com/ADS. And yeah, there's a masterclass there. There's a community of about 2,700 other business owners that are running Google Ads for themselves, and lots of free value. And I jump in there and I answer questions sometimes too. And yeah, no, I appreciate you
Mhm.
inviting me on, man. Thanks so much.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, man. Yeah, I appreciate your time. And I know that like you are so busy, but yeah, you gave me sometimes, from your, I mean, busy schedule. Yeah, that's why I'm like really happy and excited. So yeah, thanks for your like, I mean, joining this podcast. Yeah.
For sure. Good luck with everything. Keep me posted on how everything goes. And man, good luck out there. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Of course, I will.
Okay.
Bye bye.
See ya.